How do you typically respond to your fears? Do you find that you end up debilitated or end up with a lot of anxiety? Well, in today's video, I want to show you a step-by-step process that you can use to not just conquer your fears, but often to live in better harmony with your fear. Let's get to it. Welcome everyone. My name is Christian Lamb and I'm a licensed clinical counselor. My goal here is to help you raise your awareness so you can find more joy and peace in the process of life. I know for me, fear has led to a lot of anxiety and has caused me to not even start certain things that I may have really enjoyed. So in today's video, I want to share with you 5 steps that can help you to address your fear and to live in better harmony with it. So step number 1, we need to become aware of why fear is causing issues of distress for us. That way we can accept that there even is a problem. Acceptance of the problem is needed if we're going to be able to do anything about it. The why is important too, but we'll cover that later. So step 2 in this process is we need to really understand what is happening inwardly when we have fear or anxiety. What happens biologically, physiologically, and mentally. So biologically, over many years, our bodies have learned that we need to respond to a situation if there is fear involved. So our body prepares itself with the fight, flight, or freeze response. This fear allows our bodies to release hormones into our body that prepare us for action or prepare us to do something. Now what happens physiologically for me is that my body starts to react to the fear. My palms may start to sweat. They do start to sweat when I am fearful. My mind starts to race. My breathing starts to get quicker. And if I can acknowledge that these things are happening, then I can really start to understand the cues that show me that fear is coming up for me. Now, mentally, when fear comes up, usually the mind starts to race. We start to lock on to certain thoughts that we typically start to ruminate about that keeps that fear response going and leads to excessive anxiety. Now, the more awareness that we have around this fear response, the easier we're going to be able to see what we can do about it and how we can live in better harmony with this fear. Now, step number 3 for addressing our fear is to be on the lookout for the thought process that is adding to our fear and creating anxiety. A lot of times we're going to be denying our fear or trying to fight against it, and we know that what we resist persists. So I really apologize for the lighting in this video if it's not so great. I'm traveling at the moment and I don't have my lighting set up with me, and I'm depending on the sun right now to light the room, and it's kind of battering me at the moment. So if we're denying our fear or trying to fight against it, then we're not even acknowledging that we have a problem with the fear, and we can never hope to live in harmony with it. Also, we can find ourselves just ruminating about this fear, and I know this is something that's plagued me in the past. So we may have a fear of flying, and our minds will just attach to that fear and just come up with several possibilities of the negative and tragic events that could happen. We may even feel helpless to redirect our attention to anything else besides these tragic things that could happen from flying. So this leads us to step 4 in this process of addressing our fear, which is to redirect our attention. Now, this is something that I've reviewed in previous videos, so please go ahead and check those out. Now, why is this important to be able to redirect our attention? Well, sometimes we really get caught up in that thought process of negative thinking and think of worst case scenarios. So to be able to redirect our attention at will is obviously priceless. Now, redirecting our attention is thankfully a skill that we can cultivate. Now, cultivating any skill just takes practice. And thankfully, there are a number of different practices that we can use to learn how to redirect our attention. One of those that I want to cover today is meditation. Now, with meditation, what you can do is you can focus on your breathing, and focusing on your breathing gives you an anchor for your attention so that when your mind drifts off into something else, like a daydream or some negative thinking, then we get our chance to bring our attention back to that anchor, which is our breathing. So going back and forth from losing our attention on a daydream to reeling it back in to our breath gives us a chance to exercise that muscle of our attention. I plan to talk much more about meditation in future videos, so please stay tuned for those. Now, step number 5 in this process is to really intentionally take a stand on how we relate to our fear. So here we are intentionally choosing to step out of this thought process that is continuing this negative state and step into a more confident stance with our physiology. Now, we want to make sure we're doing this in peaceful moments where we're not in fear and anxiety, as well as moments where we are struggling with the fear and anxiety. This way, we are giving ourselves a chance to practice this concept and these skills while we're in a peaceful state and not struggling with stress and fear and anxiety. Now, something I've looked into recently is neuro-linguistic programming, and I encourage you to take a look at this as well. What this is getting to know the unconscious mind and reprogramming it through how we talk to ourselves and others. Now, you can use writing or journaling here to intentionally start to communicate with yourself about how you view and how you relate to your fear. You can also start to speak with others about how you plan to deal with and work through your fear. This way, they can provide you with some support and hold you accountable as well for your plans. Now, counselors can be extremely helpful here for helping you to hold yourself accountable for your goals, as well as providing you support to work through them. So I think writing and journaling about your experiences is an excellent way to raise your self-awareness and gain more understanding of how you operate. So after you go through a fearful event, asking yourself, how did I handle this? How did I work those steps? What are some things that I could do differently? How can I improve upon this? So asking these questions can really help us to better understand our fear and give us an opportunity to really better relate to it so that we can allow it to energize us and not disable us in certain situations when fear arises. And this really gives us a better chance to raise our awareness of our thought processes that really keep us stuck in this anxiety and fear state. So I thank you for watching this video today. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, you know what to do. So if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing, as I put out weekly videos on how to raise your awareness so you can find more joy and peace in the process of life. Please also come find me and say hi on my Instagram account. And if you're in Florida and want to consider doing online counseling, you can find me at my website, and I'll link to that somewhere here on this page. Until next time, take good care and be well.